Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Today I've got another Adobe Acrobat Pro tutorial for you. This one is going to be about how to resize page dimensions as well as to scale page objects and also do a little bit of page editing, moving some objects around. I've got a file here that I downloaded. Basically, you're looking at a 28-page booklet here. If I go up to my properties, you can see that this is a 5 1/4 by 8-inch size book or finished size book. But what if you want to go ahead and let's say we're going to make this, we need to make it a 6 by 9. Now you can take this, you can drop it into a 6 by 9 template in Adobe InDesign and certainly set up your booklet and your page dimensions there just fine. But what if we want to do it right directly in Acrobat? So if I go into my Preflight panel, and if I go into the single fix-ups, and I have one here called, if I just type in size, I have a custom profile that I created called Enlarge Page Size. So if I click on edit, I'll show you exactly what that is. So the fix-up category in this case is going to be pages, and this is going to be enlarge pages. So if you click on that, that'll give you these different parameters down here. Now what I've done here is I've changed these all into variables. But if you click on the drop down here, by default this is what the properties are. So for edge, you can select left, top, right, bottom, top and bottom, left and right, or all edges. Basically what that means is that is going to determine the direction that you want to enlarge the page by. So let's say in this case, the booklet that I have here, I want to add a 1/2 inch to the top and the bottom because that is going to get me to my 9-inch parameter. And then on the left and the right, I'm going to need to go 3/8 of an inch on either side, and that'll get me to my 6-inch side or 6-inch size. So I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but those parameters there are basically to go ahead and enlarge from that direction. So you can select any one of these, and I've set it as a variable so that when we activate the fix, we can choose those parameters in the fix-up process. Here is your enlarge by percentage. Now you can type in a certain percentage, or I've set this to a variable so that we can tell the fix-up what size we want to increase it by. Here is the unit. So again, you can either select one of these predetermined unit types, or I've set this to a variable so that we can choose it when we activate the fix-up. And then the last option is to choose a page range, and again I've turned this into a variable so we can select it during the fix-up process. So if I click fix or double click on this, I can choose here which of these edges I want to enlarge from. So in this case I have a 5 1/4 this way and I have 8 this way. So I want to make it a 6 by 9. So I need to increase the top and the bottom by 1 inch, or excuse me, 1/2 inch to get the 1 extra inch that I need. So I'm going to go to top and bottom, and I'm going to enlarge by 0.5 inches, and I'm going to do this on all pages, or I could select even or odd. In this case I want to do all pages. So I click OK. It's going to prompt me to save. I'm just going to call this _2. And you can see after it runs the pre-flight, it's added the extra dimension there. So if I go up into my properties, you can see now it's a 5 1/4 by 9-inch size document. So now I have to go back and I have to run the profile again, but this time I'm going to do left and right, and this time I'm going to go 0.375 so that it adds to the left and right. So I hit OK. I'll just overwrite this. I'll hit replace. And now if I go up into my properties, you can see I have a 6x9 size document. So this is now the size that we want to run this at. However, kind of after doing this, we look at it and go, well, there's a lot of white space in here, so is there a way that we can fill this up a little bit? So again, one way is to drop this into InDesign and just scale your pages up. Well, what if you have a lot of pages that you want to do it and you want to do it quickly? In this case, I have 28 pages in a book. What if I had 100 pages or 1,000 pages? Obviously, it's going to take a long time to do that. So if I go back into my profile, or Preflight profiles, excuse me, and I select my little wrench again, and I type in scale, I have one here that I have scale pages, and I also have scale page content. Scale page content is the one we want. If I click edit, this is what the parameters are for the fix-up. Under pages, you have scale page content only. And as you can see here, it says scales the page content to a given percentage without changing the page dimension. So in this case, the 6x9 document size is going to stay the same, but all of these objects that are in here are going to basically expand or contract however we want. So scale to, you can either set a certain percentage, or in this case, I've created a new variable again, so that we can type it in when we actually activate the fix-up. And then here you choose relative to what position. So this is kind of like what we did in the previous step. We can choose either from the center to left, right, lower left corner, etc., etc. Most of the time you're probably going to go from center of the page, so I've created this as a variable as well, and my default is from the center position. So those are the parameters, only 2 on this one. So if I go back in here and I click fix, I'm going to go from center of the page because I want to enlarge everything out from this center position. And then I'm going to scale it to, let's say I just want to go 10% larger. So in this case, I want to scale it to 110%. So I hit OK. It's going to prompt me for a save. I'll call this _3, and then I'll hit save. And then now you can see here the page dimensions are the same, 6x9 inches, but all of the objects in this book have been enlarged to kind of fill up this gap. So they've increased overall by 10% of their original size. So those are 2 different ways to increase the page dimension, and then also to increase the actual scale of the objects that are on the page. Just as a quick example, if I come back in here and I run this again, and I'll say scale to 10%, what this is going to do is it's going to scale it all the way down to a tiny little amount. So I'll just call this _4. I'll hit save, and then after you can see, boom, you got you got a tiny little booklet here that is impossible to read unless you zoom way in on it. So anyway, that's a couple different ways to change the scale of a page object, and then also to increase the size of the page dimensions using the Adobe Preflight plugin. The last thing I want to talk about, this is just kind of a little bonus here. I noticed on this little thing, and this always drives me nuts. I'm going to view my rulers here. So if I go show hide, rulers, and then I'm going to drop down a guide here, you can see whoever created this is just a little bit short. So I want to fix this. So if I go up here and on my toolbar here, there's a move or change page objects. You can also get to it from the print production palette. So this is called edit object. So then what you can do is you can select individual I have to have it activated, huh? Then you can come in here and you can select multiple objects, and I held shift when I selected those, and now I'm going to hold shift again because I'm going to move it, and I don't want it to move left or right. I'm just going to move it up, and then boom. So now it lines up a little bit better. I hate when things like that don't line up, so that's just a little bonus, but you can obviously apply this to move all sorts of objects around however you want. You can move it up, down, left, or right. And this is within Acrobat, so without having to take it into Illustrator to Photoshop. So I hope everybody's been getting use out of these videos. I have noticed an increase over the last few weeks of viewership, which I highly appreciate. I'm very happy with a few of the comments that I've been getting, that people have actually been getting some use out of these videos. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys tuning in and viewing these. Again, if anybody has any kind of questions or would like to see a future video, leave some suggestions down in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. But as always, please subscribe, hit that little bell icon for notifications, share with all your friends, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.